Before Timo Tjahjanto directs Bob Odenkirk in the highly anticipated Nobody 2, it's the perfect time to check out the filmmaker's criminally underrated action thriller on Netflix. With Better Call Saul's Odenkirk in the lead role, playing a seemingly ordinary suburban family guy who turns out to have a dark history of government wetwork, Nobody offered a fresh perspective on the action genre. A sequel to Nobody has been in the works since it arrived as a sleeper hit in 2021. Despite being released at the tail end of the pandemic, it made a minor splash at the box office. In the past few months, work on Nobody 2 has finally gotten underway. Odenkirk is reprising his role as Hutch as well as writing the script with Aaron Rabin, Umair Aleem, and original writer Derek Kolstad. Connie Nielsen will reprise her role as Hutch's wife Becca, and Sharon Stone has been cast as Nobody 2's villain. While the first movie was directed by Ilya Naishuller, Timo Tjahjanto is taking over the director's chair for the sequel. Tjahjanto has more than proven his action filmmaking chops with his underappreciated Netflix action thriller The Night Comes For Us. Before being hired for Nobody 2, Timo Tjahjanto wrote and directed Netflix's The Night Comes For Us. The Night Comes For Us is Tjahjanto's calling card. Before being tapped to direct Nobody 2, Tjahjanto was already one of Indonesian cinema's most renowned filmmakers in the action and horror genres. He directed segments of the horror anthology movies V/H/S/2, V/H/S/94, and the ABCs of Death, and wrote and directed the horror feature May the Devil Take You and its sequel May the Devil Take You 2. His most recent directorial effort was the 2022 action comedy The Big Four, about four retired assassins who return to action when they cross paths with a by-the-book detective on the trail of an elusive killer. In addition to his solo directing work, Tjahjanto is also one half of the filmmaking duo The Mo Brothers with his friend and collaborator Kimo Stambul. Together, they've co-directed the 2009 slasher Macabre, the 2014 neo-noir thriller Killers, and the 2016 action film Headshot. Tjahjanto has a diverse portfolio of work under his belt, but arguably his finest movie, and the one that makes him a perfect choice to direct Odenkirk in the Nobody sequel, is 2018's The Night Comes For Us. The Night Comes For Us is one of the most brutal action movies ever made. Tjahjanto's Netflix actioner is uncompromisingly bloody. The Night Comes For Us stars Joe Taslim as Ito, a ruthless enforcer for the Six Seas Triad. In the opening scene, Ito and his fellow enforcers massacre an entire village as retaliation for a couple of the villagers stealing Triad drugs. Ito is sent to execute the last remaining survivor, a little girl named Reina, but he can't bring himself to pull the trigger, so he kills the other enforcers instead. He takes Reina under his wing and they go on the run as the Triad sends legions of assassins and corrupt cops after them. Ito calls in all the surviving members of his old gang to help hold off the cavalry. The Night Comes For Us is a no-holds-barred thrill ride. Every big set piece sees dozens of persistent knife-wielding goons slashing away at the heroes. They narrowly escape death at every turn. It's an uncompromisingly brutal, blood-soaked movie that crosses lines that few movies dare to cross. Even Reina gets in on the action, stabbing a henchman to death as he tries to grab her through a car window. The Night Comes For Us is gorier than any Saw movie. It's not for the faint-hearted.